Hello, I'm Wim Fisset. I'm the coach of Angelique Kerber, and we'll be talking today about the challenges playing on grass with Toni Nadal.
Hello, I am Toni Nadal, and we want to talk about playing on grass or talking about surfaces.
Well, we see the biggest differences, I think, in the length of the rally. Yeah, as we come now from the clay courts where we have very long rallies, we go now to the grass season where we have very short rallies, and the hard courts are somewhere in the middle. Yeah, so the serve and return, of course, the most important shots, as we want to be on top of our opponent from the first moment as soon as we can.
Okay, I see a big difference like you. The rallies on clay are longer, then the ball on clay go higher, it's normal. But I see a difference in the movements. To move on grass course is more difficult. It's difficult in your legs. You are tired because you have to play more down. Then you can change the direction of the ball. I think it's good, but sometimes when you change and the opponent make a good shot, then you have a big problem. I think there is a big difference between both games, but there is one difference very big, is in the serve. Many times when you play on grass are many points that you can play. Then you have a problem for your confidence, you have a problem for the continuous game. When you play on clay, you play all the times. You play all the points. On grass, maybe you are two games that you can hit the ball. This for the men's. I don't know exactly for the women's, but for the men's is like this is complete here. It is difficult to play.
I think it's interesting also to speak about the mental part of it, because on the grass the matches are very close, and it's just a few points that can make the difference who's going to win, who's going to lose. And it's a lot about the efficiency on the break points. So you have a few break points and you know you have to get one of these, because otherwise the match can turn. So the mental part, I feel, is also very
disappointed many times. I remember last year when Rafael played in Wimbledon, we play against Gilles Muller, and during many games Rafael couldn't play.
Yes, I remember.
The serve was so good, and we have no chance to return the game.
Yeah.
And then you are there and you have the sensation that it's impossible to play. The training on grass is different because you don't need to make long rallies. You have to be more aggressive, you have to play short points, you have to serve better. Then when we practice, I remember when we practiced with Rafael for playing Roland Garros, the weeks before we practice always long rallies. We make exercises with defense, attack, running, play high. And when we practice on grass, we practice always short points. We practice more the serve. We practice more the return. And this total different.
Yes, no, I agree. I think especially starting on the grass, the movement is very important, like you said. And of course we come from the clay where we are sliding to the ball, and now it's like the deceleration is very important, and especially changing side from one side to the other. So it's very difficult, very different movement. Yes, and then of course spend a lot of time on serves and returns and the next point, the next ball. So to work on the patterns with the serve and the next ball, I think it's very important. We spend a lot of time on that, and then the last thing is like the transition from the defense to the offense, because the defense is very difficult. You can't stay too long in the defense, and it's important that you work on the transition to go as soon as possible from the defense to the offense.
And there is another difference, and I think this is important too. When you play on grass, you play with different balls. You play with the balls, heavy balls, and then the movement change a little. At least for us, when we play on clay, Rafael want to play a lot with his wrist. He play moving very fast the wrist, and on grass is different. The Schlesinger is more difficult, then you have to play more with the arm.
So, well, the strategy playing on grass is of course very different than playing on clay. Yeah, we try to be very aggressive, maybe more aggressive than on the clay from the first shot. So when I think about the serve, I think we're going to play more risk on the second serve to be really on top of the opponent from the first moment, and also take more risk on the return, especially on the return of the second serve. So try to be in the offense as soon as possible, and of course finish the ball at the net if you can, but try to avoid to stay too long in the defense. So that's how I see the strategy playing on the grass.
See, I totally agree. It's a big difference between both, and the strategy change completely, because how you said, it's impossible to be at the defense a long rally, because you don't have any chances. I think you have to be more aggressive in the return. Then you have to play in your mind that the mistake is not too important. On clay, you don't want to make many mistakes. You know that when you win the match, normally it's because you make not too much mistakes. Then on grass, it's not too important. You know that you can make one break, two breaks, or three breaks in all the match. Then everything change. Then what you need is to connect some good returns in a game. Then you have to be very aggressive. You have to go to the net, and you know that when you play on grass, a normal volley that on clay is very bad, on grass could to be good. When you go to the net and with a normal shot, it's difficult for your opponent to make a passing. On clay, you go to the net with a normal shot, and it's very difficult that you can win the point. Then all of these things have to be in your mind, and you have to play aggressive, go to the net, don't think about the mistakes, and think only to make one good game or two good game on the return.
About lefty players and having advantage, Toni. So my opinion personally is that being a lefty is a huge advantage on every surface.
Yeah.
I do, because you play 80 or 90% of the time against right-handed players, and then if you play a lefty, it's a different strategy, because you have to adjust your game. The lefties with their forehand down the line can be very dangerous, and especially with their slice serve. And then I speak especially on the grass, where the grass really takes the lefty slice and keeps it low and away from the opponent, can be, for me, a huge advantage over the right-handed players. How do you see that?
I don't know exactly. For me, I know that many coaches, many players said that there is a big difference. Lefty and right-handed is better for the lefty-handed, but in my opinion, I am not sure, because when I am a lefty and I play against a right-handed, he play his forehand over my backhand
Yes.
and cross, no? And when I play my forehand cross, I play is the same. It's true that he make we can make the slice, but he make the same.
Yes.
Is not. I make this in the 15-0, and he made this in the 15-all. But I think it's not a big difference. At the end, we can see how many lefty-handed there are on the tour, how good are the players, how much they won against lefty, how much they won against right, the percentage. I don't know the percentage of the victories. That's the Rafael against lefty-handed or right-handed. I don't know the percentage of the victories with lefty or right-handed Angie. But, what do you say is true?
Yeah.
When there are 90% lefty, right-handed, and only 10% lefty-handed, good. You used to play always with right-handed. But at the end, you have to play well when you want to win. Is the same when you play against lefty or right-handed.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Of course, yes. For the aggressive player, I think it's very clear that the grass is the best surface. Yes, where for the defensive player, the player with the best defensive skills has the most chances to play well on the clay courts, right? I think at this moment, there are not really just defensive players and just offensive players. Yes, it's every player now these days there are complete players who can well defense and can play well offense, of course. I think most of the players they can play well on each surface, and they're all trying to play well the whole year and to have the best results the whole year.
Yes, I think the same like you. For the aggressive players, it's easier to play on hard court, on grass. But there is another thing. It's not only for the aggressive. It's for the player who has good shots, very fast shots. I think for the not defensive or aggressive, the people who has more control, they prefer to play on clay, maybe on hard too. The people who has less control than the surface on grass is easier. When you have a good serve, it's easier to play on grass court, because with the serve you can win many points without making nothing else. The people who likes to play with a strategy, they prefer to play on clay. For me, this is very important, because I don't like the sport without thinking. I like the sport with a strategy, and then I think this is a big difference. But it's normal when you have a very good serve, then you make the second shot very easy. When I watch Serena Williams, she serves really fast, and the second shot normally is easier. Federer, he serves so good, and the second shot, the next shot, come normally easy. When you don't have a good serve, the second shot come many times difficult for you. Then this is the big difference. It's not a thing about to be aggressive or not. It's to have a good shot when you enter, normally to have a good serve. And there is players that they want to have control, and players they want to hit very fast the ball. Okay, good luck in Wimbledon. I hope that Angie can make a very good tournament. Maybe she can win. If not, I can win Muguruza too, or Suarez. But all the best for you, like a coach, and for
you.
your player. And I hope that Rafael can win too.
Of course. Thank you very much, Tony. It was
Thank
an
you to
honor
you.
speaking to you about challenges playing on grass, and it was very interesting for me to hear your thoughts about it.
The honor
Thank you.
was mine because you are the coach of one of the best players in the tour, and I am the coach of all the small guys.
Okay.